Hey, what's going on YouTube? Mr. Roboto here again, and today I'm bringing you guys two tutorials. The main one is going to be wires, how to implement them in your map, how to make them look aesthetically pleasing on your map, all that good stuff. And the second one I'm actually going to get to as I come to it. Alright, so we have a little objective here, possibly for invasion. It's a monitor with a little mechanical tower next to it, possibly a large computer. We don't know yet. Moving on, we have little wires on the side. The wires actually come out of the computer, out of the monitor, onto the floor, and actually go across an arc to a power source. That looks really cool. You can walk over it with only a little bit of bumping. It doesn't really affect gameplay at all. Just a little bit of bumping, not much. In fact, I would say it's very, very minimal. Now, how you do this, how you actually make wires on your map, is all you gotta do is submerge any kind of block you want. If you want to make a straight wire that's all rounded off and all that, you gotta have a 1x1 or any other kind of... Actually, anything in the block section, really. Just as long as make sure it has one long, flat edge, right? So you can go ahead and submerge it and have only the very tip sticking out, only a tiny bit, so you can still walk over it with minimal bump. Now you guys can actually do this with whatever block you want. Like, I'm using a wall here, just to show you guys that walls are actually underused as an aesthetic piece. You can actually use these for almost anything. Like, let's say you have a giant wire, you can go ahead and use that. That actually is good for a wire covering or to put beneath your wires so it looks like it's on a little plane or something like that. But yeah, you can use any block you want. Like these right here, these are very nice. Wall corners. You can actually put them in there like that, and they're like little curved wires so you can have a giant curve like that. When I say curve, I don't mean like a perfect semicircle or something like that. I mean you can just have little block followed by block followed by block to make it look like it's I don't know, kind of strewn out across the floor, all that good stuff. I'm just gonna go ahead and delete those. Bring this back up. Now the secret to that is you can have everything on one coordinate plane, but then have the floor just beneath that coordinate plane. So it works like that. That way you can walk over it. Everything else is on a coordinate plane, so it's really easy to work with. Just the floor is barely off. It won't give you any kind of bump or anything. It's just very nice. Alright, that's what we have for wires here. Like I said, you can use it for any kind of objectives you'd like, or just with anything else, like this little radio here. Now with this radio, I actually I built this on a map a while ago, and one of my friends was asking me for a tutorial, so here you go, Rimmer 59, tutorial for you and everybody else on YouTube. Now one thing I'd recommend is on my map it is not actually hooked up to a wire system, but I would highly recommend you guys do that, because wires make everything else look a little bit more professional. Now, how to build it? You gotta have a flat surface, possibly a desk. Once again, using a wall. Walls are extremely underused as aesthetic pieces. You gotta go ahead and flip it sideways like that. If you look at the top here, the top is actually a little bit interesting looking. It actually, the rest of it recedes back while the little black part is still there. I think that's really nice looking, and I decided, you know what, I should use that in a little bit of an electronic. So let's see what we can do there. I then whipped out a little bit of, oh yeah, it was a column actually. I whipped out a column. Merge that within, and you know what, I actually found that it fit perfectly because, you know, the coordinate plane, and I was like, man, that looks a little weird, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it out a little bit. Now it looks a little bit better, and right about here I decided, you know what, I should actually make a radio. So I pulled out an antenna, decided to use only the big part, and what you have to do for that is actually rotate the rest of the antenna so that the smaller and little tube of the antenna is sticking out through the wall. So you can't see, you can only see the big one. Now we're going to go ahead and merge that down a little bit, merge it into the center, go ahead and bring it up a little bit so we can see the coloring. No, that was actually a little bit too much, let me bring it down. Grab the wrong block, sorry about that. Alright, I'm just going to leave it how it is for the moment. Let me go ahead and whip out a second one here. Now this second one is actually the same antenna, just a smaller tube. Let's bring it sticking through the middle here. Now, sticking through the middle, you have a nice little looking antenna here. Now, for this little mini antenna for the actual radio itself, so the radio itself appears to have an antenna, let's go ahead and whip out a block. This brings the same exact idea as the wiring, except now it's going to appear as an antenna. Like, right now it looks like an antenna, because it looks like a wire that's going nowhere, looks like an antenna. But to reinforce the fact that it is an antenna, let's go ahead and add a little bit of a base to it. If you add a little bit of a base to it, it'll look like, oh, that's built in there, it's supposed to be an antenna. So, 2 blocks, nice little antenna there. Oh, you could also add a flag stand, whatever you want to add the button, and that's it. Have a good one, guys.